This conference will now be recorded.
So basically, this is our first session. So we'll be starting with the UI and all. So how many of you everyone knows HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? Uh, do I have any scenarios like this? So if you know very well, not a problem. If you are new to this particular thing, so how many are new to this particular HTML and all? So anyone can you just chat or can you just ping me on this particular chat window so that I can analyze this particular content and I will uh, I'll treat you like that actually. So one by one, please ping your skills, like what is your background and all, so that I can know about your backgrounds and I can go with that particular understanding. Come on, we'll take just a couple of minutes for this. So please input your details. I mean, your background and what is your, you know, HTML, CSS and all, or don't know anything like that. Code, Java, Springs, okay. Okay. I got two responses from few. Okay. Basically, you know the HTML and how the HTML will be. So what is the purpose of this particular, okay, basics HTML? Okay, three responses. Basically, what is this particular UI technologies? So, what is this particular UI technologies? Okay, okay, thank you. So, I just want to I will quickly share my screen here. Just give me a minute. Hope you are able to see my screen. So, what is this particular UI technologies and what are we doing with it? So if you look at any of your programming languages and whatever the program you are doing, so whatever the software applications you are doing, so your technologies are those uh, where you are interacting in the basic browser level. So if you develop any application, so you are interacting to the only the user should have to interact with the user browser thing. So whatever the browser uh, technologies and everything. So the browser is rating some technology which we are displaying on the particular browser pages are nothing but UI technologies over here. So based upon your career opportunities, I will be divided into like basically this is not this is web development. So web will be developed divided into UI and UX. Where UI means user interaction, where user will be like user interaction and user experience. So these are the career opportunities like UI developer, UX developer, UI designer, UX designer. So these are the four categories which are available on this thing. So whatever the UI and UX, UI will be with the initial basic level of your skill. So where you go with the initial landing and also experience with the UX. So when you got so many experience in this and also you are able to predict the whatever the site or whatever the end user perspective that your web application is like to be here, and you need to focus on those particular user experiences more, like if this website is this, so if I had developed this particular website, so what does the end user is looking into it and how this particular content is more interactive to the user or is more attractive to the user. So you need to think about those things on the particular UX. So when you will be getting on this particular UX, it will be like whenever you got some experience on you're developing and designing on this particular UI and all. So coming to the designing, so design will be a, the thing where it comes like what is the particular layout of your web pages. So what is the layout and how the layout it should be and all. We will be using wireframes and mock layouts, whatever the layouts it will be coming into that, and also we'll be having some design tools where this particular, just give me a minute. Okay, uh done. So design will be including all these wireframes and design tools, and also like we need to implement some style guides. So how the whatever the design of your particular website look like, it look like. So there are a lot many scope in this particular design as well. And development comes through this particular thing. So whatever the information according to your layout and according to your wireframes, according to your whatever the style guides, it will be like decided by the uh, designer after approval of your client or whatever the project initiated. So those things should be developed in this particular development. So which comes with the UI technologist with the starting basic information will be aligned using this particular technology called HTML. So which is the markup language uh, where we're defining the information into a simple browser with the tags and whatever the elements we'll be discussing on those particular things. And it adds some attraction thing or this particular development using the CSS, which is nothing but the cascading style sheets. What is the meaning of this particular cascading over here? Can you please all go on mute? If you have any questions, please unmute yourself. In the meanwhile, please mute yourself. So, what is this meaning? So what is particular, what is the meaning of cascading over here? So here style sheets are nothing but you are applying some styles to the particular browser or whatever the page you are designing. So here cascading is applying on another, so that it will be like it is not only one to one, it is like one on another, it is applying. So it is the meaning of the cascading. So how it will be handled. So whatever the terminologies we are using in this particular technology, we need to have to understand those particular things, and then we have to go further for your better understanding and better implementation. So you will be like going with without any doubts, and you will be going ahead with all the clarifications whatever you are doing. So coming to this particular JavaScript, so what is this particular JavaScript? It is a scripting language. We know that this is a client-side scripting language which is used to add some interaction things to the browser or whatever the HTML pages or the web pages we are designing over here. So in the last 10 more years, like in the last we can say in the last decade. So from the last decade, JavaScript was evolved into different shapes, and which has become very most powerful scripting language in the current scenario. You can see that what is the power of this particular JavaScript and all. So entirely the UI development. So whatever you are career opportunities with the UI or UI developer, so should have to know this particular basic skills based on these particular technologies like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So JavaScript was evolved into a lot of things like libraries, and it is a collection of all the predefined functions, and whatever the implementations is called libraries, and we have this particular frameworks. So this is the evolution of the JavaScript. Like JavaScript was evolved into libraries and frameworks. And in our session, we will be discussing the libraries like jQuery, and React as libraries and frameworks coming to this Angular. We will be going and learning, because this is the uh, whatever the craziest thing and whatever the most career opportunities will be residing in this particular technology. So we are limited to this particular jQuery, React, and all. And you can ask, so what is the future of this particular thing? So what are the future technologies we will be having in this particular UI and all? So Vue is another thing. It is coming up with very good speed, and it is also some of the parts it is implementing in US and other UK opportunities. So, but it is just limited, so it is not coming that much aggressive. It is also coming up. The coming up technology is that. And what is the future of this particular React and whatever the Angular we are learning? So in this particular scenario, you can develop a web application or mobile application based on these particular skills. So there is a combination for this particular thing. So if you learn the database like MongoDB, Express, and Angular, Node.js. So this is called as a mean stack developer. So you'll become the mean stack developer. This comes as a package with end-to-end web development or a mobile application. So mobile application needs more this one like frameworks based on this particular Angular. We have Ionic and many more tools are there, but Ionic is the most one of the things over which are developing these particular mobile applications. If you don't have this particular combination of whatever the Angular, so we have another combination with this particular React. So React will give you that the same stack development as Angular is giving over here, but here it will be called as a main stack, and you will become main stack developer as well. So nowadays, like this is also calling this particular combination is also calling as a full stack developer, but it includes, like in my scenario, full stack developer needs more tools and more programming languages inclusion. That is the only full stack developer it will be doing. But here you can develop the web applications entirely from end to end. So that is the reason, like it is also like but it is a limited. It is not nothing like what a programming language is doing. But here we can do. But we are having the limited access for this particular structural databases like NoSQL databases like MongoDB, and also you can use a Firebase and you can also use the AWS and whatever the services we have available in the latest. So we can use all those things. So to develop any like mobile applications based on the React, we'll be using React Native. But in our course, we'll be like, this is the future, how you enhance your skills after learning this particular course. I'm giving you this particular guidelines on this particular. So here, this is the thing. So whatever the technologies, what is your career scope and all. And if you add any other technologies, you will become like a full stack developer with structural databases and cloud services, cloud hosting details, and whatever the other tools you are interested, you might be interested. You just build upon your skill set, whatever you are learning. So you are already learned. Actually, some other like I have seen some of the people are experienced in the Hibernate and Sprints and all those things. So if you are experienced in that way, you just learn this particular AI and UI skills, and you'll become a successful UI developer. I mean, yeah, full stack developer in the front end also, so that you can develop end-to-end applications from your end. So that is the main scope of this particular what is this particular structure of this particular program, what we are defining over here. So in this session, so we initially start with this particular what do you call the basic HTML. So for basic defining this particular HTML and the structure, so I'll suggest this particular Sublime Text 3, which is the IDEA tool which will be giving good interaction and whatever the structure of your particular HTML it will be. So I just so how to use this particular thing, so where it will be available and all, I'll show you. So this Sublime Text is available with the Sublime Text. So there are not many IDEs it will be like we are having, but here it is just for Sublime Text you can download and you can buy also, but so if you can download, it is giving you all the operation support like OS X, Windows, and whatever the Linux repositories, and you can download with your whatever the version it will be, and you can easily work on this. The beauty of it is giving you the structural whatever you will be using over here. So first you need to create a folder, and then you just have to save some file on this particular UI, whatever the folder you will be creating over here. So it is just, so I'm taking this particular index.html. Why index.html is, so if you are creating any other the structure of this particular thing, so I just save it as a um, why this particular index.html? So index.html is the root page which is giving you the configuration or browser understanding that this is the a root page kind of thing. So we'll be having, if you are using any other programming language, the basic the root page, it will be like defined using this particular index. So for example, we have this particular index.html, index.jsp in your Java server programming, index.jspx, and index.asp, index.htm, index.php. So everything will be defining on this particular pages only. And we have another terminology called default. So default.html kind of thing. So I just reversed. Okay, default.html, default.aspx, and all. So it is just a predefined configuration for any server to display that particular home page or whatever the page you will be defining here. It is like index.html or whatever the root page it will be like. So whatever, if I click this particular Sublime Text 3, if I click on this particular, so this is called index.html or whatever. If you can inspect this particular page, what is this particular page is about. If you can see here, this is the developer tools what we are using for this particular browsers to understand. So each and every UI developer should have to use this particular thing for your sources, whatever it will be. So if you can see here, the Sublime text will be having the images, screenshots, and the whatever the screens. And if you can see, this is called index. So index, what is this particular index is nothing but your root page. It is just giving you the basic document of whatever you need to load once you hit this particular URL. So this is how the sources it will be like. If you can see here, the network, whatever the sources it is loading for this particular page, it will be giving you this. And we have lot many memory, applications, security, audits, and all. So at this point of time, we only consider this particular elements, how the elements is styling over here, and each elements, whatever we are defining over here. This structure, this is the page, what we called as in our HTML. And we will be calling these are all the things like tags and all. But inside this particular tag, so if you remove this particular greater than and lesser than symbols. So whatever you feel this particular HTML head body, each and everything is an element over here. If you click on any tag, it is giving that particular element style over here. So this is what we are defining those particular tags or elements on this particular thing. So we are having these particular elements and we are defining those particular properties to the particular elements. So we will see how what are the elements and what kind of elements we'll be using over here in our HTML defining. But if you can see here, so each and every element, whatever you're selecting, it is having some styles with computed event listeners and lot many other things like DOM, breakpoints, properties, accessibility. So these are all the things a UI developer should have to consider while defining his page or whatever the page it will be. And each page and each element will be having a box model, which is nothing but a CSS box model, where the content will be aligned inside this particular margin, borders, padding, and so it is giving you some color indication over here. If you can go through this particular thing, so you can understand what is content. It will be like giving you this particular content, how it is in the blue color, and padding it is in the green color, light green, border and margin. It is in the color indication so that you can understand how the look and feel of that particular content was aligned in this particular pages. So how it will be defining and all. So we can see this particular structure over here, and we have this particular thing. So this is the mobile emulator, so where you can check your cross what do you call cross device specifications using your devices, or you can use the resolutions. You can customize your resolutions according to your devices, and you can check that resolution how it will be and how it is fitting your website into this particular device and all. You can see that particular whatever the you are in this particular emulator. So it is just giving you this particular defining node. If you check back, this is Rest giving. So if you want to check this particular multiple sessions or how it will be and all, this is called a selector. So if you can select this particular whatever the content in your page, it is giving you that particular details in this particular whatever in the developer tools window. So if you can select over here, it is defining that it is in the header 3 tag. So we are using the H3 and with the color and the font and whatever the margin we are using over there. And also if you go to the particular the next content, it is in the P element which is with the color margin and all. And if you click on this particular thing, that particular styles will be giving you in this particular styles window, and also it is selecting in this particular elements window. So this is how it will be working. So whenever you're working something, if you want to have this troubleshooting, and if you want to have some preview before you content deployment, so you need to test over here, and you can work on those particular things whenever you got this particular thing. So if you want this particular view layout, see, this is the p tag, and if you want to go with this particular view layout, so what is this particular view layout it is defining? It was defined on the span with the class menu, and the color and whatever the font and the background is changed, and the padding has made to that particular thing, so to have some look and feel other thing like that. So if you go to anything, it is just a feature. It was used with the package feature. So whenever you have these particular elements, this particular selector will be selecting all the elements and wherever it is, and it is just defining the styles with that particular thing. So in this paragraph element, there is no other element, so it is just defining whatever it is. Okay, so this is how you will be like, yeah, for example, if you can link this particular API as well. So API is anchor with the color and the font, everything, whatever the styles it will be, it is just defining over here. So this is how you can measure the things. You can troubleshoot the things, and you can redefine the things based upon this particular user testing on this particular browser tools, which are called the developer tools in this particular thing. So if you can go to this particular F12 button, or if you can right click on any other browser, go to the inspect, it will give this particular command, and you can put this particular thing like here, the right side, left side, I mean down, and like this. And also you can have the undock this particular thing, so you can work better like this, and whatever it would be defining. So it is just giving you this particular computation and all. So this is all about this particular whatever we are uh, discussing about the developer tools and all. So coming to this particular IDE, why I am using this particular IDE is, so this particular index.html, if I save this particular thing, so if I click on this particular, so I just type it only to write some tag like this. If I enter this particular thing, it will give you this particular structure of your HTML, so that what is the latest index, what is the latest HTML we will be using. This is called HTML5, and HTML5 will indicate these are some changes in the doc type and some other components, and whatever the elements we are defining inside our HTML structure. Those are something, it is like more user friendly, and you can able to understand to develop further things like that. So here, this is the basic structure of HTML5. So where you can have the doc type HTML. So this doc type will understand it by the browser that this particular HTML is using the HTML5 version. So earlier we'll be having some other doc types like with the DTD transitions and all. So where it will be having separate understanding. So if you are using the XHTML kind of stuff, or if you are using any data related DHTML kind of stuff. So all those things we need to mention in this particular HTML. So in this doc type HTML we'll be looking at. So for that particular reason, so it was like that. So now it was entirely it was merged into a single like extraction, so that it will for all the browsers, all the latest browsers, it is going to support for this particular implementation, whatever the HTML terminology it is. So basically the HTML terminology word is it is defining on this particular doc type and HTML head and body. So here, the HTML is the core element of what we are defining in this particular page, and it can also like have the head and the body tags accordingly to have the whatever the browser you will be looking at. So these are all the configuration areas where you can define this particular web page. For example, I am giving the UI sample as the title over here for the head, and I'm doing some. So body, this is the body is your general content. So whatever, I just want to open this in a browser, which is like I'm using the file, which is still I have not deployed anywhere. So if I deploy anywhere, so it will be coming with a HTTP or HTTPS. But here I'm just accessing the file, whatever it will be in my particular local content or in the local file I have defined. So if you can see the general content over here, it is displaying over here in the whatever I have displayed in the body, and UI sample, if you can see the title has been over here. So like this is the title of your page, it will be defining the title, and you can the browser can understand what is this particular title and how it will be, and all. If you can based on this particular title, you can understand that your website is here. If I'm using this particular sublime tag, if you can check your website where it is. So my UI sample is here. So if you click on this particular tab, so it is just to indicate the title of your website in the browser tabs. So this is the main purpose of this particular title, how you define this particular title inside this. So if you can see here, the general content as this particular thing, and if you can insert or inspect this particular content, if I can show you here. So what are the things it will be like? If you can see the general content, if I select this particular element, this is a basic HTML with the color, and if you can go through this particular body content, it is just defining the general content with whatever the HTML it is applying. There is no other specific element it is applying over here, only the HTML with body. So if you can see here, there is uh, the content is aligned into blue and the margin it was aligned. So who defined this particular the body, and also this is the browser understandable and browser convertible codes for the HTML. It's like a global standard with the HTML with the body. It is getting you this particular styling default. It is also predefined in your each and every browser while deciding this particular terminology. If you can see here, the body will be having the display block and margin. There are some styles it was included already for this particular thing. So what I'm intending to tell here on this particular point is it is just defining the browser. Each and every browser, the HTML will be having a default styling where where it will be displaying in this particular browser, and you can see those styles whatever it is applying over here. You can see here the HTML, it is taking 768.34.8 with the color. This thing and font 16 pixel times New Roman is the font and all. So it is taking the default font of your whatever the system or the browser it will be defined with this. So coming to this particular body is nothing but here whatever you want to display in this particular uh, body of your page. So this is nothing but the body, entire body. It will be like the header related parts. It will be like this. So what we include in this particular header tag? So header tags include the title and the meta tags, which will be having the caches, long list specifications, and not many other view scale properties like to have the CSS to be integrated. So regarding your mobile responsive view and all, there is some view scale property it will be used for this particular meta tags. So there is lot many use for this particular meta tag. So on this particular thing, you need to have to study more on this. And we have the fav icon to display this particular icon like this. For example, this Sublime text will be having this particular icon. This is called the fav icon. And we don't have this particular fav icon at this point of time. We need to have, this is a general thing, general fav icon it was defined over here. So we can define our customizer fav icon using the fav icon, which will be like I will show you in the later classes, or you can also like define this particular fav icon using whatever I will show you over here in this particular code. So in the head, we'll be having all those. See, if this particular Sublime text will be having meta name, description. Mahesh, this was already like I have discussed it. This is a Sublime text actually. Sublime text. Okay. So here, if you can see here, the meta link and all. So we'll be like all those things. It will be over here. So it is just displaying whatever the tags over here, the meta tag, link, and whatever the styles it will be like. So here we are having the icon with five icons. So this is what the five icon it will be displaying over here. If you click on this particular thing, it is just displaying this particular five icon what it is. And if you can see here, it is just giving you the five icon with the ICO, which we are linked using this particular link tag like this. And we have this particular link tag, so not list. So it is just giving you this particular IDE will giving you this particular. So I am missing something over here, and I am having this particular. So it is giving you the proper indication with the color. So you are missing something with some color indication, which is not properly aligned like this, and it will not define like that particular thing. So whatever you are using, it is just following the terminology of your HTML, how it will be like. So basically the script and sorry, the link and the script tags, so which are necessarily to be loaded at the point of the page loading, you can define in the script, or the script can be loaded anywhere inside your HTML. You can load it over here, or you can load it after body, or you can load it after HTML, or after this. So generally, this particular whatever the HTML will be passing, or in your terminology, if you are understanding about the compiling or interpretation or whatever you are doing for this particular execution. So HTML in this particular browser, it is executing from top to the bottom. So whatever you load according to things, so whatever you are writing these particular things accordingly, it should have to be in that particular order. So then it will be processing your page, whatever you are doing in this particular page in that particular scenario. Okay. So this is the thing about the head and all. We will be seeing whatever the things it will be in later stages. So what is the purpose of this particular script, and how we will include this particular how we will be using this particular script inside our implementations and all. So in this particular the body, if you want to have to include this particular whatever the content, so content will be formatted in this particular piece structure, which is like this is nothing but the whatever the paragraphs it will be. So basically, as for this understanding, so the HTML page is nothing but a document. Why this particular document? So if you are using some other information to be displayed inside, or you want to promote some information, what you will do? You're just preparing a document and you are giving that particular document about your service or whatever the uh, product it is. So what you are doing is just defining a document with the text, what are the paragraphs, what are the headings, and what are the images it will be, and you can print only that particular thing. So in the print media, you can include the text with some colors and all, and you can have those images or But this is a web media. You can include this particular document with different styles and different colors and different images, and you can link to the pages, and you can also define audio, video elements. You can include all those things, and you can also like add some interactive tools and whatever the user is expecting. You can define all those things in this particular HTML. So basically, the page is referred to as a document, and whatever the objects defining in that particular document, it refers to a model called document object model, which is we called it as a DOM over here. So why this particular document and all? If you can see here, coming to our example, if I can go to this particular example, inspect element, if I go to this particular console is nothing but whatever it is happening in this particular browser, it will be logged into your console. So if I type this document over here, what is this particular document and all? What is this particular document? If I type the document, it is selecting entire your body over here. See? So if you can enter this particular document, this document gives you entire your doc type. So now you can understand what is particular doc type. Doc type is nothing but your document type. So document type is HTML, and it is defining the HTML head and all. So entire whatever you are managing this particular page, it is structuring on above of this particular document, which is nothing but the document object model here. Okay, so that is the reason. So whatever your script things, everything will be implemented based on this particular document basis. So document dot get elements, or document dot whatever the elements you are binding and how you are doing and components. So we just have to understand this particular basic document. So coming to this particular thing, so in this example, we have defined the paragraph like this. And what is the difference between the general content and the paragraph? If I just define this particular paragraph over here, if I go to this particular general content is mixed with the body. And what if the paragraph is doing over here? So if you click on this particular paragraph, it is having some other styles like this. So it is displaying with the display block and margin and all, everything will be defined like this. So if you can see, the content is here, and there is a padding, there is a border, but margin was created like this, and it is started from the next paragraph, next line, it will be like that. So the paragraph defines the new line intending for each and every content whatever we are doing over here, and generally we'll be using to define the para styles like that. So to define the information, to define the content whatever we are including on this particular page. So there are a few more text formatting elements, like we are be having a h tags, so which is in this particular headings to make your page to with h1, whatever the heading it would be. So you can see here the heading, it will be like this. And if you can check over here, so if you can go to this particular whatever this particular you can see here the checking after, if I enter this particular heading to, what is the size of this particular heading to in your elements page only, it is just changing your thing like this. So the h3, and we have generally it will be up to h6. So h1 to h6 are the normal heading styles. So whatever the according to your content, and according to your paragraphs, and according to your content alignment, you just have to define this particular thing. So if you type any heading kind of thing like this, h7, after h7 it is just converting into a sample paragraph, not like your the styles and all. If you can, these are all the things you can check over here, and you need to go to this particular page and you need to define all those things. It is not saving over here. This is for your checking purpose inside your browser, how it is happening over here. Okay, and we have this particular header styles, and what are the HTML header styles? It will be It is just defining the headings from H1 to H6. And likewise, we are having some formatting elements like to define some content in the styles like bolder text or big text and whatever we have. You just try with this particular thing. So paragraph sample. I just want to display this particular sample as a bolder font. So what it makes sense is just here. So it is just making some bolder application. So it is like the bold text, it is just applying for this particular thing. So I can see here, whatever we are using this particular H1 tag, it is just taking the new line and it is just executing. And after that P tag, it is executing after this particular. So it is checking two new lines over here. But if you can see here, I am using this particular B style. It just not taking the new line. It is just taking that particular same line where I have defined. So there is some wording for this particular thing. So I'll let you know in this particular next session, but in the circular whenever time comes. So we'll be having the big tag like this for the big text, and for italic, to make this particular italic or emphasizing, we'll be using I or EM. There is two tags available for this particular okay, emphasizing. So I want to purchase, just giving you like this. So and we have the small text and strong. So you just make a note of all those things and try to implement this particular thing. So P tag, big tag, I or EM. So and small, strong, sub, soup. This is for the subscription and subscription and super subscription. Like if you want to structure like X2 or anything like that, so it will be like defining the subscription basis and also like subscripted text, and superscript it is like X square or anything like that. It will be coming like that. So it is just defining the content, how many types it will be, and inserted text, deleted text. So all these elements are the formatting elements. What I'm talking to here is formatting elements, which is not taking the new lines. It is just implementing in the same lines itself. Also, and we have tags like BR if you want to have this particular split. So there is a self-contained or self-closing tag which will be defining as a BR, which is giving you the next line. For example, if you want to go to in this particular paragraph, I just want to split this particular paragraph into next line. So the BR tag helps you to implement in the next line. And we have the HR for the horizontal line. It will be like defining your HR like this. So these are all the elements which are available for this particular what do you call in your implementation. So we have not many things like that, and generally basically these are we are having the type of element. So whatever the tags with whatever the elements we are defining in the H1 paragraph and all, these are all the block level elements. So the block level elements always takes a new line to execute, and we have inline elements like B and all B and italic, whatever the folder tag, and image tag is another thing, and em tag, span tag, input tag. All these elements or tags which are called the inline elements, which are executing at that point of time or which are implementing on the point on the flow. Okay, so these are all the things. So will be like inline and block level elements or block elements. So uh, we call it as a block level elements, so that it will be defining whatever the tag it is defining with a new line, it is called as a block level element. And the other thing who are displaying in this particular in the particular scenario, like em kind of thing. So em is a inline element. So this is how these are categorized like this. And we have many more things to discuss on this particular thing. So we have image tags, so which is with coming with img, and the source, it is like a physical location where you can include your source location using this particular thing. So I don't present, I don't have anything over here, but I can make use of rows. So if I can see here, this is the rows.jpg. If I want to include this particular rows.jpg, so I'm just maintaining this particular path over here. This is the physical location. If it is inside any other folder, you need to have to refer this particular folder name like this. So if it is in the particular images folder, you need to have to define the under the images folder, and you need to define this particular folder location like this. So if we can define this particular image over here, and if we can show this particular image and it is getting this much of bigger, if you want to have to limit this particular thing, so you need to add some additional information for this particular tags. Those are called attributes or properties, what we are using in this particular thing. So we will be having some additional information. So for that I'll be using 200. So whatever the measurement we'll be giving, it will be in the pts and pixels we will be defining. So we'll be having some measurement formats over here. Points and the pixels are the generally used whatever the measurement scales and all. So in this particular define. So if I had given this particular properties, it is just limited to this particular this size and all. So this is how you will be adding some properties. Those are nothing but uh, the properties to this particular element. So we call it as this is a element, and we are using the properties to this particular. So properties are nothing but the additional information to display it. So we'll be having a lot many attributes, and also attributes, comments. So elements, comments, and what we have classes. So there are a lot of types of things. So we will be discussing in the next session. So as this is introductory, so I just concentrated more on the structure of the HTML and what is your career opportunities and how the browser it is taking into this particular thing. So in the next session, I'll cover you the most of the HTML elements and how the HTML elements it will be defined and what are the useful things to our next session. It will be like that. Okay. In this particular session, do you have any other doubts? Please let me know. Could you please let me know what is meta link were called? I don't understand. Can you please, meta link were called means? Those are tags and elements of the HTML which were defined in the head part. So this particular meta tag is providing you the metadata. Metadata means whatever the data related to this particular HTML, typically to specify some of the page descriptions, keywords or others, or whatever the document related things. So if you are promoting a document, it needs to have some information about the document. Those document information will be provided in this particular meta, which is providing you the metadata information. So for that, to define the metadata inside our HTML, we will be using meta tag. And linking is nothing but whenever you are adding some additional document to this particular, so additional style document or additional any other CSS, you will be linking. So that will be linking using the link tag over here. So that is the purpose of the link tag. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. If you are good, I'll see you in the next session on the same time. Okay. Thank you.